Because of the goodwill of the business, it will earn some extra profit. So that a capacity of the business to earn extra profit is called as goodwill. The goodwill can be sold only when the business is sold. So until and unless the business is running, you cannot sell only the goodwill. The business requiring less capital can realize higher amount of goodwill than other businesses earning less profits with a huge amount of capital. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all to this session. In this session 1 of Unit 3, we will be dealing with valuation of intangible assets. Now, what are intangible assets? Our intangible assets are goodwill. So, one of the best examples for intangible asset is goodwill. Now, here, let us have an introduction on the goodwill. The name and fame of an organization can be termed as the goodwill. So, it represents the name and fame of the organization. It is the benefit and merit of good name and reputation. It refers to a measure of the capacity of a business to earn excess profits. So, whatever the profit they are earning, so because of the goodwill of the business, it will earn some extra profit. So, that a capacity of the business to earn extra profit is called as goodwill. Therefore, goodwill can be defined as an intangible asset of the business. So, because the goodwill is earning extra profit for the business, we can say that goodwill is an intangible asset for the business. So, it might also be defined as the value of the reputation of the business, and it is a valuable asset if the concern is profitable. So, what is the value of the goodwill? What is the reputation expressed in monetary terms? That we call it as the goodwill. Now, goodwill can be described as the extra saleable value attached to a prosperous business beyond the intrinsic value of the net assets. Now, suppose the value of the net assets of the business is 10 lakhs. So, this is the net asset value of the business is 10 lakhs, but the buyer is ready to pay 12 lakhs. So, this 2 lakhs extra which the buyer is ready to pay, that we call it as the goodwill. So, it can be described as the extra saleable value attached to a prosperous business beyond the intrinsic value of the asset. So, this is the intrinsic value of the asset. So, anything more than that, whatever the buyer is ready to give, that we call it as goodwill. Thus, the existence of goodwill can be felt through extra earning power. So, the extra earning power what the business has, that we call it as goodwill. Because of such a nature, it seems like real asset, but since it is invisible, such as patents, trademarks, copyrights, etc., goodwill is termed as intangible asset. So, this goodwill, it is invisible. So, we cannot see the goodwill, but we can only just know what is the value of goodwill when the business is being sold. So, it is an invisible asset like the patents, trademarks, copyrights, etc. So, goodwill is termed as a intangible asset. Now, what do we mean by intangible? Intangible is that which we cannot see. So, it is an intangible asset. Then, what are the features of goodwill? So, the following are the special features of goodwill. Goodwill can be sold only with the entire business, or it cannot be sold in part or isolation. That is, the goodwill can be sold only when the business is sold. So, until and unless the business is running, you cannot sell only the goodwill. So, goodwill has to be sold along with the business. So, except on admission or retirement of a partner, when new partner compensates the old partner or the retiring partner gives up its right in favor of the remaining partners. So, only at the time of the partnership. So, whenever there is admission of a partner or a retirement of a partner, then we assess the value of goodwill and ask the new partner to bring the goodwill, or when the old partner is retiring, then we give him his share of goodwill. Other than that, there is no transaction relating to goodwill when the business is running. So it is valuable only if it is capable of being transferred from one person to another. If it cannot be transferred, then there will be no value of goodwill. So goodwill is of value when you can transfer the value. But if there is no transferability, then there is no value of goodwill. So it represents a non-physical value over and above the physical assets. Now, the physical assets of the business are there. So we can easily value the physical assets of the business, but the extra value which is given for the business in order to make the payment or to purchase the business, so that extra money is the goodwill. So it is the non-physical value of the business. You cannot see the physical value of goodwill, but you can just have it in as a monetary value. So goodwill cannot have an exact cost, as its value fluctuates from time to time due to internal or external factors which ultimately affect the fortune of the company. So goodwill keeps on fluctuating. The value of goodwill keeps on fluctuating because of the internal and external factors and which affect the fortune of the company. So the value of goodwill is based on the subjective judgment of the valuer. So whoever is evaluating the goodwill, it is based on his judgment. Then the need for valuation of goodwill arises in the following circumstances. Now, when should we value the goodwill? So in this, the first case is, in case of a partnership firm, there is a need for valuation of goodwill in the following cases. So, in the case of change in the profit sharing ratio of the firm. So, when do we share the profit sharing ratio? The profit sharing ratio of the firm will change when there is admission of a partner, death of a partner, retirement of a partner, etc. So, under such cases, we need to value the goodwill. Next one, in case of admission of a partner, so we need to value goodwill. In case of retirement or death of an old partner, we need to value goodwill. In case of sale and amalgamation of the firm, that is when the entire partnership firm is sold to a company, then we need to value goodwill. Then next one is amalgamation. So you just absorb the partnership firm into a company, so that then we need to value the goodwill. Then in case of a joint stock company, goodwill is valued in the following circumstances. So in case of amalgamation of two or more companies, so when two or more companies come together and form a single company, that we call it as amalgamation. And in the case of amalgamation, we need to value the goodwill. So in the case of taking over of a business by another company, so this we call it as the absorption of the business. So company A is absorbing a smaller business, so that we call it as absorption. Then we need to calculate the goodwill. So in case of taking over of the business of the company by the government, so when the government takes over the business also, we need to calculate goodwill. And in case of conversion of shares from one class into another, when you are converting the preference shares into equity shares, then also we need to calculate goodwill. If a company wants to acquire control of another company, so then also we need to calculate goodwill. In case of valuation of shares for taxation purposes, if stock exchange quotation is not available. So when the valuation of shares takes place and then we need the tax quotation, then we need to calculate the goodwill. So what are the various factors which affect the value of goodwill? So the first one is the nature of business. So it means the prevailing competition, the level of risk involved, government, regulations, nature of demands, etc. If the existing business units are earning more than normal profits and have secured monopolistic position, they will be enjoying more goodwill. So, if the business is earning more than the normal profits, then if it is having a monopolistic market in that particular region, in that particular product, then we can say that that business is having a very good goodwill. Then next one is the favorable location. It is very well known that certain cities or places are more suitable for particular industries. Business having units falling under same areas can enjoy the goodwill by selling more products. So it must be noted that goodwill arises in a particular locality only because shopping space is limited in relation to the demand for it. Now, if the business is situated in a very favorable location, especially where there is lot of floating population, especially near the bus stands or the railway stations, then we can be rest assured that there will be very good business for that kind of a favorable location. Because of the location, the business will be good. Now, this becomes one of the factors for goodwill. Then next one is the capital requirement. The amount of capital required for a business also influences the value of the goodwill. The business requiring less capital can realize higher amount of goodwill than other businesses earning less profits with a huge amount of capital. So, the capital requirements, it says that value of the business is less, the capital required is less, then the goodwill will be more, and where there is more capital requirement, the goodwill will be less. Next one is the life of the business. Time also increases the value of goodwill. Business running on profitable lines for the last many years enjoys more goodwill as compared to the recently started business. Suppose the business has been running for the last 20 to 30 years, then such a business will have more goodwill than a business which has been started recently. Then trade name. A firm which possesses the necessary patents and trademarks for selling its products will have built up good reputation and enjoys goodwill. So, a trademark. So, if the firm has been in business for a very long time and then it is selling the products through its trademark, then that also will give it more goodwill. Then special contracts, where a business is having special contracts in hand giving exceptional profits, the goodwill of the business will be much higher. Suppose the government hands over one of the contract to any of the partnership firms, then automatically the value of goodwill will increase. Then the risk involved in business, the value of the goodwill is likely to be higher in the low risk businesses. On the contrary, if the business is speculative in nature and very risky, the goodwill will have very little value. So, if the risk involved is very low, then the goodwill will be very high. But if the business is speculative in nature, then the goodwill will be low. Next, profit trends. So, when the last year's records of the business shows constantly increasing profits, it will lead to attract higher value of goodwill. So, when the profits of the previous years are showing a rising trend, so that is, suppose in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, if we can see, here the profit is 5 lakhs, here it is 7 lakhs, here it is 9 lakhs, here it is 11 lakhs. So, if you can see a rising trend in the profits, then this higher value will also lead to more of goodwill. Then quality of products. The business units which enjoy commercial reputation for the quality of the products, they have a high value of goodwill. Suppose the business is selling quality products, then because of the quality of the products also, the business will have a high value. Now, the next step is methods of valuation of goodwill. So, the important methods of valuation of goodwill are the average profit method, that is the simple average profit method, and weighted average profit method. So, I'll explain it in the next slide. Next, we have the super profit method, capitalization method, and the annuity method. So, totally we have 4 methods of valuation of goodwill. Next, the average profit method. So, average profit method is of 2 types. There are simple average profit second one is the weighted average profit. So what is simple average profit? What is weighted average profit? Now, under simple average profit, the past profits of the number of years are taken into consideration. The average of the past profits is multiplied by the number of years purchased for the purpose of valuation of goodwill. This method is mostly used when profits are fluctuating, that is, profits may be increasing or decreasing. So, this kind of a simple average profit method. So, you just add all the profits of the previous 5 years and divide it by 5 or 10 or depending on the number of years profit you have, then we get the simple average profit method. Then, what are the steps to be followed while evaluating the goodwill? Calculate the past profits of the year for the relevant years by adding abnormal losses and abnormal gains and deducting the abnormal gains and normal losses. Next, calculate the total profits by adding up the adjusted profits calculated in step 1. So, we get the total profit. Now, calculate the average profit. So, average is calculated by total profits divided by number of years. Then, next one will be goodwill is calculated. Goodwill equals average profit into number of years purchased. So, we get the value of goodwill. So, average profits into number of years. Now, we have a problem here. The profits for the last 5 years of a company were as follows. So, in 2017, 5 lakhs, 18, 2 lakhs, 19, 7 lakhs, 2020, 1 lakh, 2021, 5 lakhs. You can see that the profits are fluctuating. So, here it was 5 lakhs, it has been reduced to 2 lakhs and again there is a wide increase in the profit. From 7 lakhs, it reduced to 1 lakh and it has again increased to 5 lakhs. So, this kind of a wavy type of profit they are having. Calculate the goodwill of the company on the basis of 3 years purchase of the average super profits based on the last 5 years. So, we have to calculate the profits of the company on the basis of 3 years purchase of the average profits based on the last 5 years. So, here we have the solution, calculation of average profit. Now, how do we calculate the average profit? Total profit divided by number of years. So, total profits divided by number of years. So, I am adding 5 lakhs plus 2 lakhs plus 7 lakh plus 1 lakh plus 5 lakh. So, total I am getting as 20 lakhs divided by 5. So, the average profit is 4 lakhs. Now, the average profit is 4 lakhs. Next, I have to calculate the goodwill. So, goodwill will be average profit into number of years purchased. So, I have the average profit as 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs into 3, 12 lakhs. So, this is the goodwill of the company. So, this is based on the simple average profit. So, based on the simple average profit, I get the value of goodwill as 12 lakhs. With this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.